Hey guys, it's Kevin, State and Co Truck Insurance. Wanted to give you a quick update on the status of trucking insurance industry in 2024. As many of you have noticed that the insurance, unfortunately, prices keep going up and up, and that's kind of been reality, for the past 20 years. Like everything else, it's inflation, cost of living, insurance companies have to pay more and higher wages to their employees. All that comes into equation when, pricing trucking insurance premiums. And of course, the value of average vehicle were back in 2000. I think the average light vehicle in the United States was around $20,000. Today's probably around $40,000. So just imagine your Teslas, EVs, and all other luxury SUVs and vehicles that, and some are costing in hundreds of thousands of dollars. Just saw a big Hummer SUV the other day. I guess the EV Hummer. Just think about that. If you get into accident with something like that, the claim, the payout is gonna be, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And average trucking accident claim in the United States has creeped up to $47,000 on average. And that's mainly one of the reasons why you are seeing premium increases, and especially, the past 12 months. It kind of depends based on state. Some states a little bit, because at the end of the day, any type of proposed premium increase, the state has to approve. So it's not like just insurance company thinks of a number and says, now we're going to be charging, you know, 20,000, 30,000 per truck for the Florida state truckers. No, that's not the case. They crunch the numbers, they go to the state's insurance commission, and then, there's sometimes negotiations back and forth. And the reason some states are willing to approve those steeper increases is because the number of players in that state is very limited. So the state doesn't want to have one or two trucking insurance companies, which, Florida, for example, is one of those states where, because of the legislation and the way the laws are written, I mean, they're kind of favoriting, plaintiffs more. So there's tons of those billboard lawyers advertising, trying to sue truckers. So because of that, the state is left with very few trucking insurance companies, and the remaining ones, they're insuring and, charging people $25,000 per truck for one truck per year. Some other states are, a little bit more reasonable. They're business friendly. Midwest is pretty decent. Carolinas, Tennessee, we've seen some price hikes, but not as steep as Florida, Texas, or California. And at the end of the day, the pricing increase is not just driven by the average claim payouts and the states approving the rates or inflation. It's also driven by the truckers. If you have a clean driving record, if your drivers are, perfect, no claims in the past 3, 4 years, how long you've been operating, and especially the DOT safety scores, many new truckers, and when I say new truckers, those are the ones that been running for less than 2 years. From the insurance company's perspective, they're considered still new ventures, and yes, they're seeing a little bit higher increases than usual, and in some cases they're caught by surprise because they're like, look, my driving record's perfect, my drivers, I also have good driving record, no claims for the past two to, maybe 18 months, but then I'm still seeing that price hike. And when we question about their DOT inspections and their safety scores, a lot of times they don't even know what we're talking about, and it comes as a surprise to them that those driver or vehicle inspections, are as significant when it comes pricing your insurance as your claims history or your MVR history. And in some cases, it can be even more severe than what's on your MVR. If you have violations where, the truck is not up to the maintenance, or the hours in service were not logged in properly, or ELD is not working, those are severe violations. And we had one recently, the guy's just shocked that, from 20,000 per year per truck, now Progressive wants to charge him 35,000. And it's because they, there's for Progressive no other option, because, the guy's barely considered, a safe operation. No other insurance company will insure him, and Progressive, of course, knows that. So they're pushing the price higher, and for that trucker, for that business, the decisions kind of it puts them in the pickle where it's like, hey, do I continue operate and pay that outrageous premium, or do I just go follow my business and maybe lease under somebody else, or just become as a company driver? So pay attention to those DOT inspections because it can make or break you, especially the first 2 years in the business. And when it comes to experienced ones, the prices actually haven't gone up that much. We recently had a couple, experienced 6, 8 year operators that had renewals come up, and insurance companies such as Great West, Northland, they were offering, rates for a liability, for a million liability per truck is about $6,000 per year, which I think is very reasonable and very competitive, given that those are OTR truckers, all 48 states. But again, those operators, long time in business, clean MVRs, and DOT, safety inspections clean, nothing to go after. So that's where you see those benefits. And again, it is kind of state by state. So at the moment, we're in 20 different states. If you're considering and looking for a renewal, or want to compare to what you have today, feel free to reach out to us. Also, one thing, to mention that, in the past couple of years, we've seen some truckers go and sign up with insurance companies that had questionable risk rating. We had some A minus and players that were kind of new in the market. I think over the past 18 months, actually it was maybe a couple of years ago, we lost a ton of business to Mojave Insurance. They were super aggressive. I would say even for new ventures, they will take 1 year CDL experience, $10,000 to $12,000 per truck per year. And guess what? At the beginning of this year, they just went bankrupt. So just imagine if you had signed up with insurance company that was just kind of one of those overnight, came super aggressive, very cheap pricing. I mean, there's, if it's too good to be true, and the rest of the market is telling you, hey, it's 20,000 per truck, but you have a player that's going to give you 10, 11,000 per truck, something's missing here. And it's good if you got lucky and you completed the term with them and then moved on to somebody else. But if you had policy with them, and when they filed for bankruptcy at the beginning of 2024, I mean, that's it. You have to scramble and look for the new coverage. And then what if there's a claim outstanding? Then what's going to happen? You have to wait till the bankruptcy proceedings, go through all those motions. So just be careful of those too good to be true insurance companies. And at the end of the day, unfortunately, as everything else, inflation and costs of insurance are rising, and I think we're predicting that 5 years from today it's probably be even more expensive. So yeah, that's all I have for today. Stay tuned, and we'll see you next time. Bye.